Hi, my favorite work of art is a video that I own, and it's called The Story Lady. I love the story because it is about an elderly woman who feels she has lost her purpose in life. Oftentimes, as you become older and your children begin to leave home, I know they call it the empty nest syndrome, but you begin to feel like you've lost your purpose. No matter what you do with your days, you just long to read a story to a child again, to hold a child in your arms again. And I remember that feeling when my children left home. In The Story Lady, there is also a little girl who is longing for attention, who's longing for a parent who is there for her. Her mom works all the time. Her mom works for an agency that produces toys. So she spends so much of her time at home every day. And she fixes her own meals. She probably gets herself up for school. And she comes home every day to find, whatever the mom has prepared for her in the refrigerator. But technically, she's home alone. So in the story, I relate in both areas because I know what it's like for my children to leave home and to feel like you don't know what to do with yourself because you are used to taking care of them every day, and all of a sudden it's just you and your spouse, and there's no children to read stories to. There's no toys to pick up. It's a different world. It totally changes you. So I remember very well how that felt. And I also remember being that little girl whose mom worked all the time, and I came home from school to an empty house. And I remember what it was like to fix myself my meals or find something to do with myself until she came back home. And she basically just fumbles around all day trying to figure out what to do with herself. She goes to the senior citizens things at the Y and gets involved in the things that they're doing, but nothing makes her happy because her passion is to tell stories. That's what she loves to do, and that's what she wants to do. So in the story, she starts searching for places to read stories. She searches the library, she searches the schools, and nobody seems to want a storyteller. So one day she turns on the TV and sees public access television and decides it's time for me to do something. So she goes on the TV and she reads these stories daily, and this little girl who's home alone sees her. And one night when her mother is at home, her mom recognizes and sees her potential as well. So she talks to her firm, and her firm decides to take her on and mentor her and pay for her to be on television. So one of the things that happens in that is when you're on public television, I know from things I've heard and read and all of that they expect you to be a version of yourself that maybe you're really not. And it's so important in life to be who you really are, to be true to yourself. Society thinks we have to have the perfect hair, the perfect clothes, the perfect body, the perfect teeth, all of those things. But what really matters is that we just be ourselves. And part of the reason that movie touched me is because this mother was so uncomfortable being told to do and to be something she's not. The movie just really touched me. The Story Lady is an awesome movie. Basically, what children need is just to have someone to sit down and take time to them to read. And that's what I love the most about the movie is she loved reading enough that she took time to read to anybody and everybody that wanted to hear. And she was genuine. She was heartfelt. And that's who I want to be. I want to be me. I want to be true to me. And I want to share my compassion for children with other people, whether it's through games, through stories, through whatever. I just want to be like the story lady.